If you are a manifesting generator or you know a manifesting generator in your life, you coach them, you mentor them, have them as children, what have you, this video is going to be for you. It's a little crash course, mini 101 understanding of the things that I wish people talked about more as a manifesting generator. And when they gave these blanket overviews, they being other human design readers that I had seen that I was learning from at the time, these blanket overviews that didn't actually feel like they fit me, they felt like they got wrong, things that I wish weren't just kind of blanketed and misinterpreted, frankly, based on the text of Raoult and the founder of human design. So if you're a manifesting generator or you know one, you're going to want to listen to this video to make sure that you have a good understanding and understand the things that people get wrong most often. I'm going to share my screen with you here to look at beautiful Cassandra's chart, who is one of my manifesting generators that is in Patreon with us. And one of the things that when we're looking at a manifesting generator's chart, I like to look at first is the areas of definition as well as their profile. So wherever I say that you have definition in your human design body graph is where you have shields of armor that protect those energy centers, which are correlated to the chakra system from outside influence from other people. And what you'll see automatically if you're a manifesting generator is that you have your sacral center, the second square up from the bottom, defined, as well as your throat center defined. And then why that definition is caused is because you have a channel that connects to a motor center, which is an energy center that gets you going and doing things, like the ego motivation center connected to the throat. So one of the things when I first kind of heard these terms and I say, okay, motor, everyone describes this as the multi-passionate people, multi-hyphenate entrepreneurs who are going to do a lot of stuff in our lifetime. I initially thought that that meant that I could do 5 things at one time and do them really well. And being a 1-3, also for my 2-line people, that is a really great way to burn yourself out immediately, right? Like you overthink, you make yourself think that you can do 9 things at once. You can work 12 hours a day to be able to just keep going, should have all this energy for your passion projects. And I was wondering when because I found human design when I was 22, I'm turned 31 this year, so it's been 9 years now. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing all these things, right, that I think that I love, right? And I'm doing all these things, but I'm still so exhausted. And one of the cheat sheets that I wish somebody told me, and one of the things that I see most often that's pushed for manifesting generators is this celebration of hustle culture in manifesting generators. And in my effort to educate and inform people appropriately, it's unmucking that ideology. You are going to do many different things over your lifetime as a manifesting generator. It's just not doing all of them at one time in this very moment, burning yourself out very quickly. What work or long periods of work also looks like over the course of 12 hours throughout your day is breaks that are scheduled into your day that allow you to relax, recoup, and regenerate so that you're able to enter into the world again and be a productive person, right? Be somebody who is able to have more energy to go and fulfill your hobbies, right? Now, also worth noting within this is that if you're doing work or you have to work a job to pay your bills as you're growing your side, hustle to become your main hustle, which I have a lot of people that I mentor that are doing that, or people who book readings with me to strategize about that. You can do so in the comments below, but is looking at, is that job actually giving you energy? If it's not, and if you're not enjoying it, if your sacral is not excited about that job anymore, you're phoning energy in that's depleting you from being able to do and pour over from your overflow of your overfull sacral center of excitement into other people, into the things that you actually want to be doing. So it's a inappropriate overusage of hustle culture rhetoric to say you can do 5 things at once simultaneously and be the most lit up person in the room. That works if your nervous system is properly regulated, if you haven't been working yourself, to the nth degree, 8 hours a day plus, 20 hours extra a week that you're commuting to and from work, for example. Don't make yourself feel bad as a manifesting generator if you don't feel aligned with that just yet. That's why we call it the human design experiment, because you have to give yourself time and understanding of what it means to get in tune with your sacral center, being a sacral authority. What is my gut even like, right? What do I even like? And that's where you see your inner authority as sacral, right? For my manifesting generators. Also within that, and some things that I also hear that people tend to get wrong that I wish people had told me about, or that it would have made me get along in my human design experiment faster, is to not be afraid to ask yourself black or white, A or B, yes or no questions. I remember that I had answered somebody on Reddit one time, which was my first mistake, right? I thought it was the days of Yahoo Answers where I could answer people at 14 years old, helping people get divorced on the internet, for doing what was appropriate. If you're of that generation, you'll understand. But I remember that someone was like, asking yourself black or white questions, like that is not what you're supposed to do. And along the practice, or along your human design journey, it is always going to be better to have other people ask you black or white, A or B, yes or no questions, to pose you those questions from the outside, right? To give yourself something to respond to outside of you, not overruling your gut instinct with your logical mind. If I pull myself back to remember that later, talk about that later in this video, I will. But if you don't, there's a lot of other people in this world that are also generators, manifesting generators, conditioned, forcing themselves to do things they don't love to do, not in the right headspace to be able to even understand what they want, let alone helping you to uncover what you want. That it isn't always easy to feel safe or to find the right person that can get you in tune with understanding what your sacral wants to hear. So this is good practice for generators or manifesting generators. Asking yourself A or B, black or white, yes or no questions is super important to get in tune with what your gut even wants, right? And what's going to happen is when you start to cut out things that you don't enjoy, say no to things, no matter how big or small, that are really getting in the way of you understanding what your gut is telling you, what your body is telling you. You want to ask yourself first, because a lot of people, and finding people that you can know, like, and trust enough to ask you those questions can sometimes be a challenge when you are not even clear yourself. And then other people's lack of clarity makes you even more confused, especially having undefined head centers, right? Undefined ajna and crown centers at the same time, especially someone like Cassandra here who has an open emotional center like me. We're very empathetic people. So if we feel that our anxiety, we don't know if it's us picking up intuitively on the anxiety of somebody else asking us a question, if it's our anxiety or our body telling us no, we shouldn't proceed with that person. If you've spent your life doing so much for other people, being a martyr for other people, especially anyone with the 6 like Cassandra in her profile, that's lived the first 30 years of her life as a third line person, in layman's terms, someone who's going through trial and error versus that 6th line of a role model just yet, you're going to have to look and unmuck at that martyrdom and say, well, when I've stifled my own gut instincts to people please, that takes time to unlearn. If it took you 30 plus years to get into that space, it's not going to take you 30 plus years to get out of it. But don't think that after just 3 months of doing this kind of work that you're going to snap your fingers tomorrow and all will be right with the world. You have to remove. There's an acclimation kind of plateau period. I also talk about that in my generator video. And then an understanding of what it is that you actually want for you, especially if you have this channel of discovery with gate 29, like Cassandra does. You're saying yes, the gates in your sacral center are flavoring the way you say yes, or the way you're predisposed to say yes. Gate 29 is a Leo gate placement. That's like the yes person gate. The minute somebody says jump, you're like, how high? I'm there. I'll build a bridge for us to jump off of, right? Especially understanding that you really can commit your energies to something and can really fuel it, but making sure that it's with your best interests in mind. If I want to build a garden center and I want to grow flowers for all types of parties and special events and grow wildflowers, I want to make sure if I'm saying yes to that, that the person that I'm working with, or the person who's I'm purchasing land from, is somebody that treated the land well, right? And that I'm not just saying yes because I have this desire and it's maybe the first opportunity that presented itself to me. Which leads me into my third point that I wanted to make about something that I wish that people had told me more as a manifesting generator, and that it's whether or not you are a sacral authority or an emotional authority as a manifesting generator in human design, the energy center or the chakra that speaks to your intuition most effectively. No matter what, you're going to want to have a minute, or it's a minute, it could be a week, a month, depends on the severity or how intense of a situation it is, right? Probably not going to wait a month as a manifesting generator, but put a pin in that lane for now. Is that you want to take a beat to understand and think, why am I committing myself to this thing? Or where in my body do I feel this sense of commitment? Am I committing because I genuinely know, yeah, this is it? You're going to know because you're going to feel your signature sense more satisfaction versus like anxiety or like too much elation, right? With human design, you'll notice that things are a spectrum, or you want to enter into making decisions or committing yourself to something through a place of sustainable neutrality. And what I mean by that is like you are cool, calm, cool, and collected. There's no spike at a high or a low. You're like, I feel good in this decision. This feels right. And I can tell you with 100% certainty in my 9 years of practicing and then going into teaching and making this my full-time profession the last 2.5 years is that that groundedness will is always the decision that you never regret later on. There's nothing that you would have tweaked about it, nothing that you would have changed, circumstances that may have been different. You don't think about those things as much when you come through a calm, cool, and collected and grounded place and don't feel like you have to force yourself through your emotional wave to make decisions. I've had many people that I've actually have worked with that have gotten excited with me working with them as a manifesting generator that were emotional authorities, not like Cassandra's chart here. If you're emotional authority, solar plexus authority, you're going to have the solar plexus emotional center defined. But people that I actively saw pushing past their emotional wave to get themselves out of the trenches of feeling upset or lethargic or a little bit tired to go and do something that they feel from the outside they're supposed to do. And that comes from the place of thinking that pushing themselves, I see it more so with generators, out of the mood that they're in to move forward at a time that doesn't feel sustainable, calm, cool, and collected for them only makes the problem worse. And it only makes you, a lot of people who build their spiritual businesses on that ideology are just repeating capitalistic structures of 9 to 5 jobs that they so desperately want to break out of. And a huge thing that I teach in my 8-week mentorship program is deconstructing that ideology of your business having to be set up exactly like your 9 to 5 job was. There are some placements, specifically if I go into different placements of somebody's chart. Cassandra doesn't have the placements I'm referencing here. For those of you who have worked with me, you'll know what I'm referencing. But without going too far in that direction too, it's really knowing that if that structure is helpful for you, it will be for a little period of time to replicate that structure while you're unmucking and figuring out what it is that you want to do within your business. If you have the ability and the luxury to be able to leave a 9 to 5 job as or before you're in full-fledged swing of your own spiritual business, but really, as a manifesting generator, it's about unmucking what you've been conditioned and then understanding your human design through the lens of what the experiment or the data truly means versus what you think it means based on your perception of the information through the lens of conditioning, the societal expectations that are put on you, the expectations of other people, so on and so forth, your relationship to people pleasing, how that may affect your sacral. So really getting in tune with what you want, what is important to you, what truly lights your sacral up is critically thinking and not rushing to commit yourself to make a decision, no matter how quickly you want to say yes to something. If you're very new in your experiment, even a year or two in, is really asking yourself, why do I feel like I want to say yes to this thing, right? Not overthinking it, right? Because I think that there's also lessons that have to happen in responding and making mistakes as manifesting generators. We pivot out of them very quickly, but just giving yourself an extra 30 seconds to kind of say, okay, what's the purpose or what is my excitement in relation to? Do I feel it in my spleen because I feel like when I say yes to going on a date with this person, I'm actually operating out of a place of fear of never getting another date or somebody asking me again? Or is it because, oh, this person actually makes me feel really relaxed? You're going to hear with all of the, if any of you are on like dating talk or, in the dating or after this Venus retrograde, focusing on that. It's noticing that like when you meet somebody that you're supposed to be with, they will relax you rather than creating constant nervous butterflies of what are they doing? Get like, I want to know where they are all the time. I want to text them all the time. It's like, wow, I really feel so comfortable in this partnership where I'm excited versus that those nervous butterflies, and really looking at the slight difference in those decisions or in those sensations, I should say, before making a decision is going to be really important. And some other information I really wish that people had explained to me being a manifesting generator. So if you have any other questions about being a manifesting generator, or if you have an emotional authority, want me to explain the emotional waves, any other ways that you want me to uncover what it means to be a manifesting generator in my 9 years of living my experiment, please feel free to drop those comments in the comments below, and I will be able to prioritize making a video about man-gens specifically for you. So again, thank you so much for being here with me. Brenna, your human design mentor. We'll see you on the other side.